In 1965, Singapore looked doomed. A tiny tropical island with no water, no resources, no army, and no allies. Today, it's one of the richest and safest places on Earth. This is how a country smaller than Los Angeles stunned the world and rewrote its destiny. Chapter 1. Born in Crisis. August 9th, 1965. Singapore is expelled from Malaysia, and the world watches a newborn nation fall into panic. The streets are boiling with tension. Factories are empty. Housing is scarce. Investors flee. On live TV, Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew breaks down in tears. He isn't celebrating independence. He's terrified. Singapore had no roadmap, only a desperate need to survive. Chapter 2. The turnaround begins. Lee Kuan Yew gathered his team and laid out the mission. Build a functioning nation in record time. The government moved fast. Clean the streets, remove corruption, build housing, create a stable legal system, keep the ports running, organize the workforce. Within months, construction cranes filled the skyline, new neighborhoods appeared, public utilities improved. The country began to look orderly and predictable, the very thing foreign companies respected. Chapter 3. Selling Singapore to the world, Lee Kuan Yew flew across continents meeting executives who barely knew Singapore existed. He pitched them relentlessly. Set up your factories here. You'll have a reliable workforce and a safe, stable environment. Sounded determined. He backed his promises with action. Fast permits, strong infrastructure, efficient ports, education aligned with industry English-speaking workforce companies like Shell, Exxon, Hewlett-Packard, and later Sony and Philips joined early, and once they arrived, others followed. Singapore's economy started to breathe. Chapter 4. Discipline as a strategy. As jobs grew, Lee doubled down on something few countries dared to enforce. Order. Clean streets weren't optional. Public safety wasn't negotiable. Corruption had no room to grow. Singapore pushed for consistent rules, reliable systems, and a population that could be trusted to keep the machine moving. The effect was immediate. Businesses expanded, productivity soared, and crime plunged. The world suddenly saw Singapore as the calm center of a chaotic region. Chapter 5. The Big Upgrade. By the 1980s, Singapore's leaders realized manufacturing alone wouldn't keep the economy rising forever. They rolled out a new phase: finance, biotechnology, logistics, advanced electronics, global aviation research, and education. Changi Airport opened. Singapore Airlines became a global icon. The financial district grew into one of Asia's most important hubs. The country wasn't just exporting goods anymore, it was exporting trust. Chapter 6. From Struggle to Powerhouse. By the 1990s, something unthinkable happened. Singapore's GDP per capita overtook the United Kingdom, the empire that once ruled it. Slums had become skyscrapers. Riots had become robotics labs. A forgotten port had become a global titan of trade and finance. Millions were lifted from poverty into the middle class in one generation. Chapter 7. The cost of transformation. Singapore's success didn't come without sacrifices: strict laws, limited political opposition, heavy regulation. But for most Singaporeans, the trade-off was clear. The results were undeniable. One of the safest nations on Earth, one of the richest, one of the most efficient governments, one of the strongest education systems, a society that worked consistently. Chapter 8. The Legacy. When Lee Kuan Yew died in 2015, over 1 million people lined the streets in the rain. They weren't mourning a politician. They were honoring the man who dragged a vulnerable island out of chaos and turned it into a global powerhouse. Singapore had gone from a country abandoned by its neighbors to a nation respected by the world. Singapore proved something rare. A country doesn't need size, resources, or luck. It needs leaders with vision, citizens willing to build, and a plan that never stops evolving. Singapore wasn't expected to rise. It rose anyway. It built its own future and dared the world to catch up.